Hi, Christine here at the craft table with my weekly update for you. Today is Sunday evening, September 21st, and I got a lot done this week crochet-wise, which probably meant I have been sitting too much this week. I feel it. I need to get up. So this will be short and sweet. And I will give you a brief health update, although there's not much to update on that front. So what did I complete this week? First off is this color block blanket. I finished my border. This is a border I found on Nastasia's website or YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of it, but I will put a link to her tutorial in the description box below this video, as with any other patterns that I mention. And there's the blanket. I will insert a couple of pictures where you can see the full blanket. The blanket is 37 inches wide and 45 inches long. It is this way. It is a 4x5 square blanket, and it's cheery. I'm not crazy about the color I chose for the joining. I figured it was neutral, but I think I would have liked something a little lighter. In any case, I think it's okay. Like I said, it's cheerful. Not my favorite blanket though, gotta tell you. This will go to Camp Boggy Creek with my other submissions. So I'm happy for that, and I think it'll be nice and soft once it washes up. The squares are a variety of acrylic yarns I had on hand. Karen's Simply Soft, Big Twist, Red Heart Super Saver, I Love This Yarn by Hobby Lobby, Skits Creek. What else? I think this is I Love This Yarn. More Red Heart Super Saver. This is Michael's Loops and Threads, Comfort Classic or Classic Acrylic. It's their value yarn. And I think this red is Hobby Lobby, I Love This Yarn. This brown is Bernat Super Value. So quite a variety of acrylic yarns, but they all feel pretty good. Of course, Karen's Simply Soft feels the softest. But I think it'll soften up even more once I wash it. And I'm glad to have completed that blanket that has been a whip for over a year. What's next? Next, I did some work on my socks. This is my favorite sock pattern by Olga Poltava, Socks for Chubby Feet. And this is actually the 4th time I make these socks. I really love the pattern and it fits really nicely. This is a yarn I got in a prize I won from My Pink Bathtub. And I love the way it worked up in the socks. No need to add any additional colors because of all those wonderful colors going on automatically. There's the cuff. I'm almost finished with the cuff. It'll have just a 2-inch cuff. And then I'll go back and finish the heel and cuff on this one. And we will be done. So hopefully by next week, I will show you a completed pair of socks ready to be worn. Also, I've recommended this pattern so many times, but I want to be honest, there is one part that I would get hung up on a little bit and was a little challenging till I got used to it. So I'm going to insert a short clip about joining the heel. This is like my 4th or 5th pair that I make because I love the fit of this pattern and it's easy, and yeah, so I really like it. But there's one part that's always a little bit challenging, and it almost threw me the very first time I made them, and I've finally figured out my best way to make this heel. And again, it's not difficult. It just takes a little slowing yourself down and concentrating on what you're doing. And you're forming this heel. Now, before I started forming the heel, I had this piece, and so I had made this section, and now what we're doing is closing it up. So you're taking that big section that I just showed you, and you're creating this little section. And I just want to show you this one part because, like I said, it's helped me as I make these socks. And I know a lot of crocheters get intimidated by socks, and I wish they would not, because they are not hard, and crochet socks are beautiful. So here is this section is 11 stitches long, okay, and then you have 2 slip stitches on either side. And the problem that was always challenging for me was catching the right stitch to do my slip stitch in. So I started using a marker, and it has made all the difference for me. Now here I have just finished my 11th stitch right there, and I am ready to slip stitch. Here I have actually marked the next stitch where my slip stitch needs to go, because if you notice, these stitches look so similar, it would be very easy to go back into this one. But that's the one from my last row. So sometimes if I have room, I'll go ahead and do the slip stitch before I take the stitch marker out. And in this case, I'm not going to. So I've seen that's my stitch I want to go into. And I make my slip stitch, and then before I leave, I mark the next one. So here's where I am. So this is the next, and I can't tell you how many times I wound up with a different number left on each end because I had accidentally slip stitched into the wrong stitch. So now I can turn my work. And it starts getting a little awkward because you have this cuff forming, or not cuff, but cup. And I can do my 11 stitches. And I do count them every time because I don't want to get off on that either. So I'll just make them with you. That's 2, 3. I kept running into these black sections and of my yarn, and I wanted to do this demonstration for you, and I finally saw a stretch of blue, so I might actually make it before running into the black again, because it's a little more challenging to see the stitches when you're working with black, as you know. Okay, so we're coming up, and this 11th stitch is always a little bit difficult to work into just because it's on the end there and it always wants to pick up another thread. But we got that one easy. Now here's my stitch marked. Ignore the red ones, that's just my last stitch of the row. I like
I'm stitch marker crazy. Stitch markers are your friend. Sometimes I use a yarn to track the side going up. And sometimes I use the stitch markers. The benefit of using a piece of yarn, it wouldn't so much work in this case because you're moving along the side. But when you're moving up and down, if you forget to, sometimes you take this off and you start crocheting and you forget it. And then you have no idea, especially if you're working in the round, where your round started. So if you've got your thread going up, it's real easy to pick it back up again. And you can see I missed it there, so I picked it up because it's easy to find your place again. So highly recommend using thread if you're working in the round. Okay, so back to my slip stitch, and I'm just going to make that here. I can fit my hook in there. I have both threads, and I can make my slip stitch. And before I leave, I mark the next one, and here it's easy to see because that blue is contrasting with the black. And there's my next one. And I can go and make my next row. And ideally, you wind up in the same place on both ends. And I always go ahead and turn the cuff, or the cup, just to make it easier. One more thing I suggest, if at all possible, when you're making socks, use a hook that is a contrasting color. Like if you're making white socks, don't use a white hook. It just makes your work all that much more difficult. So I'm happy that this gold is contrasting with every single color in this sock. So I hope that's helpful.
And it's made all the difference. I am so comfortable with this pattern now, and I love it, and I plan to make many more. I have a lot of sock yarn now. I've been collecting it because I discovered how much I love wearing these wool type socks. Usually it's 85% wool, 15% nylon. Usually the sock yarn. This yarn is actually Barocco socks in the color, I don't think they have a color name. Color 14104. It is 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. Machine wash cold water and lay flat to dry. And that is usually what I do with my socks. So, very happy with those. Next up, I started something new this week. I don't think I've shared this yet. This is a pattern by MDays Crochet on YouTube. She recently changed her name. She used to be Crochet Object Knitting, something like that. Her name's Mo, and she lives in Israel. And this pattern is called MDays Scarf. It is a cute little neck scarf. You can see that picture there of her wearing it. And I just thought it was adorable. And I've had this yarn for a while. What is it called? It's called Baby Silky. It is 52% cotton and 48% bamboo. It's very soft and slippery. It splits very easily, I have discovered. It is a one way, it says light. 3 to 4 millimeter hook. Anyway, I chose the color because Judy at Judy's Creations in Crochet has a butterfly this month that is pink and blue and white. Actually, it's the majority of it is navy blue, but I have this pink yarn, and so I am I chose it so I could participate in her crochet along this month. Judy does a monthly crochet along featuring a butterfly that is our color inspiration, and then we can make whatever we want. And then for the little ruffle on the ends, I am using this Fountain Hill brushed mohair Kramer yarns, 30% acrylic and 20% mohair, called Nautical Lights. That's the colorway, and it is a 2-weight. I'm supposed to use a 1-weight for the ruffle, but this is pretty thin. I think they say a 2-weight because of the mohair, but it's got a little sparkle in it, and I've had this yarn for a while. I received it in a mystery box from Crystal at Bago de Crochet sometime last year, and you can see it's very sparkly, so I thought it would go nicely on the end of my scarf. So I think I'm on the last row, and it's just this long neck scarf, and at the very end you put a ruffle, a couple of rows of ruffle, I think. On her pattern, she actually does the scarf in crochet and then the ruffle in knitting, but she also, on her video tutorial, gives you the option to do the ruffle in crochet, which I will take because I do not know how to knit. And I will crochet that in the navy blue. So glad to use both of these yarns that I've had for a while. Actually, I have 3 more skeins of this, so I'm gonna have to find another project for that. It was not the best yarn for this project because most of the stitches are worked in 1 loop only. So you are constantly having to pick up just one of these loops of your stitch, and it's a challenge. I'll just say that. It splits pretty easily, and so yeah. Was not crazy about working with it for this project. So I'm glad that's almost done, or I'm almost done with that section. But I'm looking forward to finishing that because I think it's a cute pattern. And I purchased that on, it was either Etsy or Ravelry. I can't remember which. Might have been Ravelry. I'm sure it's on both. So next up, I have my Marshmallow Kiss blankets. This is also a crochet along with, it's the Luck of the Draw crochet along with Mama Swift, Trish, and Jax at Creations by Jax. It's Luck of the Draw 12, I think, or they're on. So every week they give us a new color, and we have already selected our color palette. As I explained before, here's my color palette, and the colors are all numbered. And so then each week they draw a number, and whatever number corresponds to your color, that's the color you use for the week, along with your main color. And my main color is this antique white, Pound of Love, which I'm really loving this one. I was less than enthusiastic about Pound of Love after I worked with one skein that was so splitty and thin. I thought that the quality had dropped. I don't know if that's the case. The skein I have several skeins, the big, in this color in my stash, and I've had it for a while, so I don't know if I picked up an older one or what, but it is really nice to work with, and it is a good width for a 4-weight, and it is not splitty at all. Just a joy to work with this time around, so I don't know. I don't know what gives with Pound of Love. Maybe I just got a bad skein last time. So anyhow, this is my progress on the Marshmallow Kiss. The pattern is wonderful. It is so squishy. This will be a fun blanket to have as a throw to use anytime. I hope some kid really gets a kick out of receiving this blanket. I know a lot of people have made this pattern for the Camp Boggy Creek blanket drive, and so there's going to be a lot of kids getting this wonderfully squishy blanket. It's fun. It's fun to squish and it's fun to make. So every week I'm just antsy to get the next color revealed so I can work on it again. I actually have not finished this week's. This is the color that was chosen, but I still have a couple rows of one more row to do of the ivory. But I'm in no hurry because the next color doesn't come out till Thursday mornings. So once I finish the ivory, then I'm just going to be sitting around waiting for the next color. For that reason, I think for me, it's more fun to do the luck of the draws after they've finished, because then I can go and do all the videos at my own pace, and I still like the surprise of looking at the next video to see what the next color is. I don't look in advance or anything, but then I can just get the blanket done at my own pace. I don't like this waiting every week. I really don't. So anyhow, really love this pattern, and I'm loving my colorways and how they're working out. I started one more thing this week. I have a lot of whips going this week, and I've worked on a lot of whips, which means my crocheting time has been fun because I've had a lot to choose from. Such a variety of projects between socks and blankets and scarves. And this is another project that I've been wanting to start for months and months. And I think I saw something this week that reminded me of this, and I thought I am just going to start it because, again, it's a different type of project, and it will keep me interested. And yeah, so what is it? This is a wonderful basket pattern by Pretty Peaceful Crochet. She calls it her artisan basket, and it's a scrap buster, and you hold 7 strands of yarn together at one time. It is a sturdy basket if you can manage those 7 strands. Well, I have had a bin of chunky scraps sitting in my closet for ages, and I am tired of looking at it. I haven't found anything else to do with it, so I thought I'm gonna make one of those baskets and free up that bin. So here is the start of my artisan basket. I am on row 9, and you can see that is tight. And here are my current 7 strands, and when you run out of one, you just tie on another and you keep going. And these just happen to be the colors that most of my scraps were in: navy, white, red, gray. Excuse me. Most of them are chunky, so I threw in this really thin one. It was a novelty yarn that you can barely see that, can you? It looks more like a thread there. A novelty yarn that I received in a mystery bag that, again, another one of those things that's just been sitting around, and I want to get it used up and out of my stash. So I'm real happy with this. This is addictive. It's so fun to work on. The only problem is, because you're using so much yarn, it's hard on your hands. I have to take a break every now and then because my hand starts hurting from working these stitches, especially when I started out. Oh my goodness, those first couple rounds are a challenge. I was trying to use an 8mm hook, but I think because of all the chunky yarns, it's it's a big thing to hold on to. So I ended up with a 9mm. I'm using my prim hook because the prim has a nice pointed head, and I love that for working on baskets because it can really get in there. I was a little nervous, or I've been a little nervous as I'm working on it, because I'm really tugging on the yarn, but this wonderful hook has held up just fine. I have not broken it. And I'm really proud of it and happy with it. So yay, prim. And I do have a backup in metal if this happens to fail me, but so far so good. And once you get to the ends, or the outer portion, it isn't quite so hard to work those stitches. I also started with one of these is a blanket yarn, so I mean this sponge was really thick when I started out, and so I kind of just set myself up to have a real hard time at the beginning. But I love the colors. There's even a lime green in there. It was a wool that I have, again, it was left over from a project and I have had no use for it. So I threw it in there, and that's just, it gives a nice pop, that green. You can see it in there. And I have enough of it that it'll probably last the whole basket. So I like that. So yeah, hopefully by next week I'll be farther along on this, and I'd love to make another one, but I don't think I have that many scraps anymore once I get through this. I've been using my cotton scraps for actually I'm not using my cotton scraps right now. I'm using my acrylic scraps for a scrap can. I might actually start a basket with cotton scraps. She says cotton scraps give you a stronger basket, but honestly, these 7 strands, this basket doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. I mean, this could almost be a frisbee. It's so stiff, which is wonderful. So anyhow, that was my most recent project, and I love this pattern. I really do. And that's my crochet update. Health. It's been a week. I'd like to say it was a turtle week when nothing happened, but I'm actually up a pound from last week. So that's not good, but it's only a pound, so I'm not going to panic. I do know I've been eating more bread, so I guess bread just tends to stay put more than the vegetables and the proteins. But yeah, so I started the beginning of week at 202, and I'm at 203 this morning. So I sure would like to lose those 3 pounds and get under 200. So that's the goal for this week. Let's push ahead and make some inroads into our weight loss goals, because I am starting to feel like it's not a journey, but just a camping out. And that is not my intent. So I'm sorry I'm not more inspirational on that point. I guess my inspiration is don't give up. I'm not giving up. I do need to get back to more vegetables, and I have slacked off. I think I just got tired of all the salads, and I just needed some more variety. So I've had some just regular sandwiches, or I like to make skillet meals, and so I'll make those, which aren't terrible, but I probably eat more than I should because, well, they're so tasty. Shame on me, I know. But yeah, that's probably why I've not gone anywhere downward on the scale this week. I have gone to the gym. I went 4 times last week. So that was good, and the bike riding is getting better. I can actually look forward to it instead of dread it. I mean, I still am not crazy about going, but once I'm there, I'm fine. And I've been riding the bike. I'm up to 13 minutes plus a 2-minute cool down, so 15 minutes on the bike. And then I do about 18 minutes of work on my arms with weights, light weights, or exercise bands, and just go through all the exercises that I've learned on the videos that I've watched. And yeah, so I work till my arms want to give out, and then I move on to another exercise, and it's been good. I am thankful for the gym, for the opportunity to go, and so I will continue to do that. And I guess I just want to add, if you didn't catch the memorial service for Charlie Kirk that happened today in Phoenix, Arizona, I encourage you to watch it. It's available on several different channels. Just look up on YouTube Charlie Kirk Memorial Service or funeral services. It did not seem at all like a funeral. It was amazing. Just some wonderful speakers, especially Erica Kirk. Oh my goodness, the strength that she is showing is amazing. Just a testimony. And J.D. Vance's speech was also incredible. Donald Trump spoke also and did a great job. Some of his, I guess they can't help themselves. It starts sounding a little bit like a political speech, but most of the time he kept it about Charlie. Charlie Kirk was not on my radar at all, hardly, before his death, before he was murdered. After, oh my goodness, I have watched so many videos of his and just really come to appreciate what a incredible person he was and what a motivator. And I'm excited to see the growth in Turning Point USA and all of the growth. It's just multiplying like fire since his death, and that is incredible. And I just pray that wonderful things happen through that organization and people are brought to know Christ and do great things. Yeah, it was, I guess, he lived an incredible 31 years, and I believe that each of our days, the number of our days are already determined and written in the Lord's book, and whether we're taken out by one thing or another, we all have a set number of days to live, and we don't know what they are. So it's important to make the best of each one that we're given. And he accomplished so much in those 31 years that he was given. And now to see his wife pick up the reins and charge forward is just an incredible story and an incredible encouragement. And wow, what a force. Just pray that God is at the center of everything they do. He seems to be. They seem to have a powerful, strong witness for Christ and seek to glorify him and do his will. And gosh, what more could you ask? So, yeah, I spent quite a while today watching that service. It was kind of long, several hours, I think. But hundreds of thousands of people have been touched by his life and his testimony and impacted by his message. And so it's a pretty cool thing to watch, pretty cool. So highly encourage you. I know I watched it on TBN, but I think the White House website or YouTube channel, it was showing it. Our Right Side Broadcasting Network was showing it. A lot of them, and I've seen a lot of them have clips of the different speeches, but if you are crocheting or whatever and just want something really inspirational to watch, I encourage you to watch that service. I'll put a link to one of the videos in the description box as well. Yeah. Okay, I'm going. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.